Hey folks, so if you're watching this video, this is the syllabus video for Finance 151. Now, Finance 151 is a strange beast. It is not like any other class at Mount West. So you might not expect this, or you might be fully aware of this. I don't know. There's quite a lot of you in this class, more than usual. Most of the people who take Finance 151 are in the Banking and Finance degree program, and many of those already work at a bank and their employers help sponsor their education to some extent. If that's not you, that's totally fine. This is the first finance class in the Banking and Finance curriculum, so if that's your degree program, you're in the right place. I just want to let you know it's kind of a quirky class in the way that we do it. So I'll go through the syllabus here in a second, but basically the way this class works is I am not going to teach you anything. I am just going to facilitate the class as you are actually going to take classes through the American Bankers Association online. So this is an online class. But the way it works with the ABA is their classes don't line up properly with our semester. So it's 3 4-week classes that you're going to take. And they're not going to start on Monday, August 21st and end on Friday, December 8th. They don't line up with the semester is what I'm telling you. So that's going to create a little bit of a situation toward the end of the semester because of the schedule. But I'll work through the syllabus. You'll see what I mean. But that's how this class is set up. You're going to be taking classes through the American Bankers Association. You need to complete all 3 of the ABA classes, and you need to give me the certificate that you receive. It's going to be a certificate of successful completion. You'll have to give me all 3 certificates in order to pass this class. And you'll pass with an A because we don't have a pass-fail policy on this class. It's a grading scale. But if you just successfully complete each class, it doesn't matter what your individual grade is in that class. As long as you successfully complete it, you'll get an A for this class. But if you only complete 1 or 2 of the ABA classes, you will fail this class. That's how it's structured. All right. And that's not from me. That is actually from the American Council on Education. They do transliteration recommendations, and that is their recommendation. So that's how this is working. So on my left is the syllabus for this class. So again, this is Finance 151. It's Principles of Banking Operations. It is fall 2023. You're going to take this class online. You're also going to do some things in the Blackboard LMS. If you're not familiar with Blackboard, you need to figure out what that is. I can explain it to you if you want to get a hold of me, but you need to be able to understand Blackboard at least a minimum amount for this class, because I am going to need you to access Blackboard to do a couple of discussion board posts, as well as to submit those certificates of completion. So you need to be aware of Blackboard. It's very important. It's where everything is. All right, my contact information is here. Course description, this is just from the catalog. You can read over that. This is what I just mentioned as far as this being, an ABA class, 3 4-week ABA classes. And again, my role is facilitating and monitoring your progress throughout the semester. And I'm here if you need anything. If you have questions, if you're having trouble with the classes, if you need me to call the ABA people, that's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Now, the 3 classes. The first one is called the Banking Industry, and it runs from September 5th to September 29th. So before the class begins, right, you're going to get an email from the West Virginia Bankers Association, or it might be the American Bankers Association, but somebody's going to send you an email to your MCTC email address, and it's going to have login credentials in order for you to access these classes, or at least some kind of instructions on how you access the classes. The first one begins September 5th and it ends September 29th. It's a 4-week class. That's 2 weeks after the start of the semester. That doesn't mean you have to do nothing for the first 2 weeks. It just means that this won't start until then. I will have you do at least 2 things for me at the beginning of the semester in the first 2 weeks. One of those is just to introduce yourself to the class on Blackboard, and the other one is to just confirm that you have your login credentials prior to September 5th. All right. So the banking industry is going to cover just the what has happened in the industry since the 2008 financial crisis, the last 15 years of banking history. It is important to look further back than that. It's important to understand the 2008 crisis and and everything before it. But 4 weeks is a short amount of time, so let's get you the modern information. Then the second class, there's going to be a week or 2 weeks in between the first class and the second class. The first class ends September 29th. Second class begins October 10th. So there's 2 weeks in between. And that's called Bank Lines of Business. And that's where you're going to learn about how banks make money. Okay. The third class is going to be building customer relationships, and that's going to have a break in between. So from November 3rd to November 27th. They didn't want to have this class in the middle of Thanksgiving week, so it starts right after Thanksgiving and it runs right before Christmas. So that's how this is going to be structured. Now, like I said, the final ABA class ends after the end of the semester. What you're going to need to do, I'm going to have you basically in Blackboard, there's a little thing you'll have to do just to acknowledge that you understand that the date discrepancy. Right? It's one thing for me to tell you this at the end of August. It's another one for you to remember that all semester, and then come, beginning of December, you won't remember this. So it will be in Blackboard. You will see it there as well. There will be a due date on that little exercise, and all you have to do is acknowledge that you understand this date discrepancy where the final course ends 2 weeks after the end of the semester. And then I'm going to give you until January 5th to send me your certificate of successful completion for the final class. If you don't do that, if you do not send that to me by January 5th, then you will fail the class. That's just as simple as that. I'll need all 3 certificates, but that final one, you'll have a little chance. You'll have a couple of weeks after the end of that to send it to me. Reason I pushed this out to December 5th instead of like December 29th was because the holidays. It's a busy time, so that's the deadline. All right. All the materials are going to be given to you. They're going to be online. You won't need to buy any textbooks. The learning outcomes, you can read through those. A lot of these syllabus things are just, things we have to put in there. If I'm skipping over it, it's not the most important thing. You can read it on your own time. As far as assessment of the outcomes goes, your grading, the way I'm structuring this is that each of the 3 ABA classes I meant to put 300 points. I'm going to fix that. They're each going to be 300 points. And then the attendance and participation in the Blackboard discussion boards will be 100 points. That makes it where, these are kind of optional, these discussion boards. I want you to do them because it allows me to track your progress. Otherwise, I don't know if you're learning anything. And I'd like to at least make sure you're learning something. So that's the purpose of those. But they're not going to really affect your grade if you don't do them. It's just more for me. It helps me to know that you're on track, you're getting things, you're understanding things. And most of those, there's only a couple of discussion board things, and I've tried to make them interesting. Your ABA instructors are going to provide all the due dates for those class assignments, as well as what you need to do for a grade. I think they're going to have quizzes and exams that are probably multiple choice, so you'll need to take that through the ABA system. All right. This is the schedule. All right. So your first week of class, August 21st to 27th, you will not be in an ABA class for the first 2 weeks, right? That won't start until the 3rd week of the semester. So what you'll do instead is I want you to just introduce yourself on the discussion board. And then in the 2nd week, I want you to confirm that you have registered for the class so that you can access the materials when the class begins. Then you'll be spending time working on those course assignments, whatever the ABA gives you, whatever quizzes, tests, assignments that they give you. You'll need to spend those weeks working on that. Oops, sorry. And then once the class is done, you'll need to submit your certificate of completion to me in Blackboard. And then I've also got a discussion board for you to look at. Then more assignments for your 2nd class, Bank Lines of Business.
At your front door.
Okay, sorry about that. So back to this here. Like I said, the 2nd course will end November 5th. In the weeks in between, you've obviously got Thanksgiving break. By the end of the ABA class, in the next week, just get that certificate submitted. Then I've got a discussion board for you, and then Thanksgiving. So not a whole lot in that 3 weeks time span that you need to be worrying about. The third class will start then on right after Thanksgiving on November 27th. You'll work on your ABA courses. You'll fill out that acknowledgement of the date discrepancy, and then sometime between December 22nd and January 5th. I put the 22nd on here because I don't want you to use the January 5th as a crutch. Do it as soon as you get it. Submit that final certificate of completion. Okay, the next page is just my office hours and my class schedule. So most of my classes are online, but I do have 4 classes that are in person. So I am on campus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday during the mornings and daytime. So if you need me, feel free to pop in on my office hours or catch me in between a class or whatever. You can also email me, call me, whatever. The rest of this is just institutional information. It's the same for every class. You can take a look at that when you get time. It's got some information about student services and all the things that they have available for you. So I think that covers us. Yeah, if you have any questions at all with anything related to this course, if you don't want to take this course now that you've learned like it's an ABA thing, just let me know. Reach out to me so I can make sure that we're not registering for you a course that you don't want to take. All right, I think that's got us covered. If you have any questions, just reach out. I'll see you later.